But wait, just as another point as well, though, right? I also just want to add, it doesn't have to be that way. You can break that paradigm. 100 Thieves are the proof. 100 Thieves are the proof that you, with good branding, a good org, an owner who, you know, he knows how to run an org, I suppose.
Well,
You know, you can break into that, and then they'll have to accept you. 100 Thieves basically got them the running joke is obviously that they're an apparel company that just happens to have an esports division, and there's a lot of truth in that, and it's not even as stupid as it sounds as a strategy. And they've been able to break in and have a lot of success and sort of shake up things at the top. Echo Fox could have done it. They had a ton of problems behind the scenes in terms of their investment and money, and the fact that everyone panicked when Rick Fox came in because they thought, you know, the cartel thought they were going to be put out, you know, to pasture. But it can happen, and
well,
so,
I think,
yeah, I'll always lay it on your doorstep. If 100 Thieves can come in and do it, there's no reason the Golden Guardians can't. There's no reason the FlyQuest can't.
I still wouldn't
have to start talking
quantify.
about incompetence.
I still wouldn't quantify 100 Thieves as a successful League of Legends product, though. I think they've made a product. I think their merch is successful. I think as a brand, as an influencer group, yeah, obviously, absolutely. I think if you give any other LCS team the same set of influencers, more often than not, they're going to be able to turn it into like a product, a brand that can be sold and do something.
I think the distinction here, though, Dennis, he means like that they cracked the group of like the old kings.
Oh,
of the
like
team
trying to
Liquid
break
tier.
in?
Yeah, basically, instead of Reggie, Jack, and Steve just trying to fuck you, it seems like they've accepted 100 Thieves as like part of their.
I'm sure they tried.
Maybe, but
I'm sure they tried somewhere along the line as well. I'm pretty certain.
I was gonna say to me, it kind of sounds like maybe that's like a recent development. Then, like last year was not. Last year was an abject failure for 100 Thieves.
Well, but their first year was amazing, right?
Yes and no. I mean, in my opinion, their first year was like the short-sightedness of super volatile roster, with like a lot of super volatile personalities, recognizing that like most teams could say that they were going to be a good team, but that they weren't going to last longer than 12 months, and they made it about 9.
I mean, to their credit, though, I mean, they made a final in their first year
and went to Worlds. Yeah, they did a bunch of shit.
Yeah, for sure. I would just again point to the struggle that like they kind of broke the mold with respect to like how they spent, where they spent, and again, I still don't think that's like appreciated into like a valuable League of Legends product. I think right now what we're looking at and saying the success is this year, they did not have less than 60 days ago. Like that's literally something they purchased in the last 60 days. They effectively did an entire massive full reset, and I don't think it's like we're in the clear right now to say that they've done it.
Let me flip
it
to you, and you answer it directly. Basically, Richard's premise there, so we'll use your team specifically, would be like the hyperbolic joke way of saying it would be if Golden Guardians ever succeeded, then there'd be an off-season meeting, and magically just any team that has the initials GGS would not be allowed to win LCS. Like that's almost the level. That's hyperbole, obviously, but that's like what it feels like for some of the orgs that came in. I mean, there was orgs that came in with millions of dollars. You know, it wasn't like they came in and started from the bottom. Like they came in theory ready to buy the players and just compete tomorrow with Cloud9. But while some of them certainly were incompetent, there were also other factors in the industry I do think pressured some of those people in a way that when I talked about like how TSM got it all one way when it was one way and then got the other way when it benefited them as well. I don't think that happens to the new orgs to make. So what about on your end? What do you think?
Well, that's why. Well, I guess what I can point out here then is, do you feel like what 100 Thieves did was the best decision they could have made? Do you think they were offered all reasonably viable pathways and that no one stood in their way, ultimately, like in a way that you're allowed to? And then that's the roster that they manifested, right? I'm curious, like, do you think
let's see what Richard thinks?
Had access to those
the problem
players?
is he was the one who did the 100 Thieves example, whereas I didn't. Like, to me, 100 Thieves, as far as I can tell, is if I actually did like a big 1988 style movie scenario where I wished on the fucking machine to be an adult that owned an esports org. That's what I think 100 Thieves is like. But I want to know Richard's take on it. So that's a reference to the fucking ass right there.
That's good.
No, listen, like you can tell how successful they think you know, the whole endeavor has been, just predicated on, you know, how much they'll talk about it. I mean, like I said, you know, you didn't see Nadeshot saying anything about his CS team. I mean, like, take for example, he was so far removed from what they were doing that when he watched them on stream and just tried to randomly restream a broadcast without asking anybody, right? Because he's that divorced from the lay of the land in our particular game, right? He was disappointed with his team losing to Chaos, who were like a hot and upcoming team at the time. He didn't, because he went on a world ranking, saw they were number 32, knew nothing about any of the context, and then basically said, man, this team sucks, yeah, and had a little weird fucked up tantrum on stream about people he employs. Like, you know, so I've never seen him bellyache or gripe about League of Legends. I've never heard him say it's not a product that doesn't bring value to his org. It's very clear, actually, based on the content they put on YouTube and the way they talk about it on their socials and the way they have influencers pulling for it, that actually they're very pleased with the League of Legends product. They have an academy as well where they're looking
I
to
still
farm.
feel like we're only observing the last 60 days, because if we look at last year, they were effectively silent for the better part of like 6 months. They were really loud when they got Papa Smithy. Like, they got a big influencer, they got a big talent person at the helm of their management, and they were like super visible and obvious about it. And obviously they opened their facility, so it's super easy to lean on. Yeah. But obviously, as things just started going all over the place, they tried to be transparent. They did a really good job on the content side. But again, like, to me, that's not ultimately like lending credence to the success of League of Legends as a product. That was, again, like them leaning on one of their influencers and giving him space to like explain. And then ultimately they just undid all of it. Like, all of that transparency, everything they provided, all of the lines that they drew to what they were doing, they just erased it.
I don't know if that's true. Like, they still have the 100 Thieves Next going on. I know that they're very, you know, a lot of what Papa was doing was like developing Academy and developing the step below Academy, and they have been really dedicated to that. So
I mean, yeah, I would say Kelsey's who did that, and that's who they let go.
I mean,
like, that's like it's still there.
I mean, I like Kelsey, obviously, but I've got no insight into what she was doing as a job and what happened there. So
yeah, that's where I
can't really comment.
They're in earnest, but like, to be clear, they're fielding a roster of what, 4 effective imports, and Tanner, 4/5 of it's obviously our roster from last year. And ultimately, what they said they were going to do a year ago is like a far cry from what they did now. And I'm not saying it's like not okay to change your mind. I'm just saying, to me, it indicates that there's a mismatch in expectations of what they want to be seeing valuation-wise out of their League of Legends division.
It's possible. I mean, you know, my perceptions looking at it, you know, as I do, I follow all esports. As I've got older, I'm more interested in the business rather than the games. You realize after 20 years, the games, they come, they go. You know, but the industry remains, right?
I think we're all on that boat.
Mate, that's the beginning of a straight fire country song by Richard. Like, the games, they come and go. Exactly. There you go.
But esports won't say no.
I'll give you next is that they're not even top 8 in amateur this year.
I mean, I can't lie, Richard. Just apropos of what we were talking about before the episode, I do find there's no League of Legends World Championship finals ever going to entertain me more than D-Man selling all the fucking Riot stock right before all went a million. So you might be onto something there, mate. You might be onto something.
Just work it in again.
I'll get us back on topic actually for this.
Yeah, thank you.
I will say,
this is going to be the end, I think. Come on, let's make this like the home stretch now, boys.
Yeah, I think they made the right decision. That's actually what I was trying to get to, was I think they made the right decision. But my problem is, if the best decision 100 Thieves as like a really strong brand in the league could make was that, with an off season that includes like Jensen, and it includes Santorin, it has all these players moving around, pieces moving around, and the best thing they can do is buy the Golden Guardians roster. That's an indicator of concern for me.
As in, but just because I think like the thought is incomplete. Like, as in, to you, if they're really a team in a good position, they should have been like, but going to build the best roster now.
Yeah, 100 Thieves and FlyQuest were the 2 teams that were supposed to example that it was happening, and then they just went the other direction.
Yes.
Yeah,
but then. What you mean.
Yeah, but then also as well, I mean, I don't know what fuckery's gone on behind the scenes.
Well, that's what I was saying. They're in the boys group, so it's fine now. I was like, I mean, my concern is like,
right. So I see what you're driving at now. I mean, here's what I'll add. Like, basically, when you sort of first come into the League of Legends space, there is an expectation you will go and kiss the ring of the cartel in North America, and I don't know if Nadeshot's done that or not. But there is that is a very real expectation, or they're going to make things hard for you, and they're going to be monitoring all the stuff you do and bitching to Riot if you step out of line about any minor thing. And, you know, the idea that you would do that to, like, someone like Rick Fox is staggering to me. But that's exactly what happened. I mean, I don't know. Rick's back to acting now, and I haven't heard from him in a while. So, you know, I don't think I'm revealing any deep secrets. He got absolutely fucked. He couldn't believe what he was seeing because he wanted to come in and be an ambassador to gaming in general. He wasn't expecting a bunch of people to literally like get him, of all people, to sort of like get down on one knee and go, yes, I swear fealty to you, Lord Jack, and I will never, you know, just please let me have a team, please, please. You know, it's ridiculous. So
the maddest example, if people don't remember, was that one where, because they it was alleged they'd poached a player, every LCS team just like boycotted scrimming them for like fucking the first month or something mental of like the entire like in that scenario, that's just anti-competitive behavior. That's fuck all to do with, like, you know, someone's opinion. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, absolutely insane. And this is the way they can make things hard for you. Now, based on, again, I hear every rumor in every esport ever. And, you know, I've not heard any
right.
I'm just letting people
Who are you,
know what
fucking
time
Sauron, when the ring gets put? I see you everywhere.
You better run as well, motherfucker. You better run, right? Because I'll tell you, like, I don't even need the ring rates anymore, mate. I just come for you direct. Believe that. So anyway, you know, like I haven't heard about any of these conflicts with these guys. They seem, by and large, to be sort of comfortable with the idea that 100T's are a big brand, big influencers, and, you know, they might not be the most competitive money-wise in league in terms of how much they're willing to spend on that division. But I think they've achieved a lot of success with parts that maybe they shouldn't have achieved success with. And I think they've got that sweet spot of having, you know, as a growing brand, you don't want to overspend too much. You have to look at them as an MGO. That's a multi-gaming organization for the people listening. And look at who actually does matter to them the most. And then you have to apportion the money proportionately. I think in
I'm
terms
guessing
of
their
the
COD
size,
team's the big deal for them, right?
Of course it is, mate.
Yes.
I mean, Nadeshot said he weren't even going to get in on that Activision Blizzard Call of Duty League, and basically he made them look like fucking, you know, losers, and then he jumped in anyway when it was all resolved. It was like they weren't getting a big deal. He mad dogged Activision Blizzard. You think Jack and Reggie fucking intimidate him? So the bottom line is this: I think in terms of what they've spent, yeah, they didn't go after the big boys or the big names this time, but they're still growing. And if the fan base becomes up to the level of where their Call of Duty is, they'll start competing with those boys, and they got the clout and the money to do it. So I think 100 Thieves have actually been sensible, and probably I say it to all of the people respectfully down there, if you want to learn how to build up an esports organization that literally didn't exist 5 fucking years ago, and to get to the point they're at now, 100 Thieves is someone you want to study, not condemn.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm not condemning 100 Thieves, I'm condemning the state of our ecosystem that
Sure, I get that.
Yeah, sure.
I wasn't saying you were.
So
I feel like there should be better pathways.